150. That is the number of pounds I have gained since being diagnosed with bipolar disorder. More specifically, it is the number of pounds I have gained since I started taking medications for my bipolar disorder. Now, I'm making this video because I feel like there are people out there who may relate to what I'm about to say, but also because there may be people out there who are new to bipolar disorder and may not be aware of what to expect. And I kind of want to put this out there as a helpful warning. So maybe some people don't find themselves in the position that I currently find myself in with regards to my weight. Believe it or not, I did not always look like Jack Harlow's fat cousin. I went from 150 pounds to what I now weigh, which is 330 pounds. I actually just started a weight loss routine, and I lost about 5 pounds in my first week, so I'm actually like 326, 325. But I went from 180 to a peak of 330 pounds after taking bipolar medications. Now, I'm not making this video to try and say that medications for bipolar are bad or to try and say that you should not take bipolar medications. That is absolutely not what I am trying to say. What I am trying to say is that you should be careful. I was in a state of mania at the time that I started bipolar medications, so it was difficult for me to, be cognizant of what was actually going on and to monitor my behavioral changes. It just wasn't really possible. But I just wanted to put that out there, is that, my medications did wonders when it came to pulling me out of that state of mania. If it wasn't for my medications, I would still be in a state of mania, saying delusional things and believing in delusions. And when I'm talking delusions, I'm talking like I thought that I was related to John F. Kennedy. I thought that the Nazis were after me. All kinds of things that resulted in me adopting crazy behaviors and doing crazy things. And taking bipolar medications pulled me out of that state. That state where I refer to it as being a delusional auctioneer, because, I could rattle off like 30 things in a minute. Not even joking. And it would be mostly garbage and, run-on sentences and whatnot, incomplete sentences, but that's what would happen when I was in that manic state. So that's how it was before I started taking medications for bipolar. My weight stayed at 180 pounds while I was in mania. It didn't go up, it didn't go down. And my mania lasted a pretty big chunk of time. We're talking 4 or 5 months. My manic episode lasted. It got progressively worse to the end. I have a video on that episode if you want to check that out and take a look at that to see how that went. But right now, I'm currently on 3 medications for bipolar. I've been on a lot more than 3, though. The most I've been on at once has been 5. But what I want to stress here is that I've been on many different bipolar medications and still continue to gain weight regardless of the bipolar medication that I was taking. So I was gaining weight with the first medication cocktail, as they call it, that I was on, which is like a combination of 3 medications to treat bipolar. I continued to gain weight on my second medication cocktail, and I can't even remember all the different medications I was on, to be honest. I throw the pill bottles away after, and there's just so many to remember. But the ones that I'm currently on, in which I have also gained weight on, are lamotrigine, lithium, and Vraylar, which is the most recent one. And I do know that when I started lithium, I weighed around 300. And so I put on another 30 pounds after starting lithium. Vraylar is too new to really say anything, but obviously my weight didn't go up, my weight didn't go down. I did kind of stabilize at 330 pounds for now, but it did seem like I stabilized at 315, and it seemed like I stabilized at 300, and it seemed like I stabilized at 290, And yet somehow, while on these medications, my body found a way to grow even bigger, to go beyond what seemed like what was its maximum potential. It clearly wasn't, because it kept going. It's important to note, though, that there were some massive changes in my behaviors once I started taking medications for bipolar. When I was manic, I was walking like 15 to 20 miles per day, so that kind of kept me in really good shape. So even though I was eating and drinking a lot, which was very high calorie diet that I had while I was manic, the walking I did kind of, cut off any attempts of those high calories to put on weight during that period. But once I started medications and pulling out of mania, I noticed that I started to lose my confidence. I started to become a lot more anxious and afraid of my surroundings, afraid around people, which is crazy to me. I mean, I was just in a frat house of 100 members, living in a house with 30 guys. This is a loud house where, we have some 300 women come to the house every single weekend. And, I've done public speaking competitions. I've spoken in crowds of 3,000 people. And now here I am, anxious and isolated, and I'm afraid to go to the grocery store. I'll have a panic attack. Going to any store makes me very nervous. I'm afraid of cashing out and having that interaction. And it's all very debilitating on the mind, and it's very burdensome on your confidence, because it's such basic things that you can't do anymore. And these are things that I haven't been able to do specifically since I started taking medication. And it's just a question of whether, is this the result of me pulling out of mania and no longer having delusional confidence? Or is this depression? Or is this the medication side effects? And personally, I'm leaning towards more medication side effects with a bit of depression. But I can't blame it solely on depression, because there have been some small periods of time where I feel a lot better about myself. But for some reason, I don't feel less anxious. I still feel lots of anxiety when I go out anywhere. So that's why the bipolar medications, in my view, are the culprit. They're the ones that are culpable for a lot of this weight gain, because these behaviors that I have of being isolated and staying inside are not who I am. Even before I was manic, I wasn't doing these things. But maybe things are just different now, I mean, it's possible that depression plays a much bigger role than I imagine that it does. It's just a tough reality to deal with, to go from being 180 to 330. For those who've been so overweight in their lives before, and I'm only 5'6", 5'7". I'm like 5'6" and 3/4", but I just say 5'6". I'm 5'6", and being 330 pounds at this weight is very painful. There are so many basic things that I can no longer do physically now, which hurts me even more mentally. So it's like a never-ending loop, But that's my story of how much weight I put on with bipolar medications. 150 pounds. As I said in the beginning, though, there may be hope, because I started a weight loss routine, and in my first week, with barely exercising, by the way, because I'm still nervous to go outside, and that's where I need to do the bulk of my workouts for now. I need to do walking as my main exercise for now, because anything else just hurts. But with minimal exercise of like jumping jacks, sit-ups, I do high knees, where I knee as high as I can and try to touch my hand. Workouts like that, I was able to lose 5 pounds in 1 week with minimal exercises and with no changes to diet. Now, I'm not in a position where I'm ready to do anything more severe than that. The fact that I'm losing weight now is all that matters. Making steady gains, which will then add up to become large gains, is what I'm aiming for. Once I'm in a state where I'm not so depressed, then I can increase the volume. And working out is only gonna make me feel better, right? Working out doesn't make you feel bad or feel worse about yourself. So that's the hope, anyways. If you wanna join me on my weight loss journey and see the progress that I make, or if you're interested in more content on bipolar disorder, I now have 3 videos on my channel, 4 if you actually count this one that I'll be uploading. Then please hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like so that more people can see it. Thank you all and have a wonderful day.